All right, welcome back. So I'm expecting you to join now so that we can continue again. Okay, so I can see two people connected. All right, all right. We are starting now already. We are on. Somebody is asking when are we starting? We are on. Okay, so let's go on together again. I'm on. So, all right. So we want to continue where we stopped the troubleshooting process. I see three people have joined already. So in order not to waste time, so let's all right. Azizat, all right. I can see you. Adesholape, I can see you too. So in order not to waste your data, let's continue from where we stopped. Others will join us. Okay, they are already joining now. They are joining now. So I want to continue about troubleshooting. All right. So the troubleshooting process has six steps that we use in carrying out troubleshooting of a computer system. What are we talking about here? Now, when you receive a computer, you as a technician that wants to repair the system for someone, you need to follow these six steps, the standard steps that will help you to easily, get the job done, and then the owner will be happy, yourself will be happy when you follow these six steps. The first step is that you identify the problem. There are a lot of things you do to identify the problem. Number two, establish a theory of probable cause. That is, try to figure out what is the problem with this computer, what causes this problem that the computer is having. Number three, test the theory to determine the cause. Now begin to test the theory. What you figured out, begin to test it to actually determine what the cause really is. When we say establish a theory of probable cause, we are saying that you figure out various things that can cause the problem. Now, you begin to test them one by one. That is step number three, to know which one actually is the cause of the problem, the fault that the computer has. The fourth one, establish a plan of action to resolve the problem and implement the solution. After you have identified the problem, now, how do you want to solve it? How do you want to repair the system, so to say, to bring it back to normal functioning condition? That's step number four. Step five, verify full system functionality, and if applicable, implement preventive measures. Verify full system functionality, and if applicable, implement preventive measure. Now, the system that you actually troubleshooted, that you repaired, when you finish, you must be sure that all the functions of the computer before they brought it to you, it can do every other thing again. You can browse, maybe you can print on a printer, you can browse, you can use it to type, you can use it to play music and so on and so forth. Your work must not leave errors back, or disabling some of the functions of the computer. That is why you need to verify full system functionality, and if needed, implement preventive maintenance. And the last one, document findings, actions, and outcomes. Whatever you are able to carry out, you must document it. You must put them down in paper. Record everything that has been done, including the time taking, including the equipment used, including the components parts changed. Everything has to be documented. All right. So those are the six steps that we normally follow in a troubleshooting process. Now, the first one, let's talk more about the six steps one by one. The first one, identify the problem. How do we identify the problem? One, You must collect the customer information. When they bring a computer to you, you as the technician that know how to solve it, you want to collect the customer's information. Information you are going to collect include company name, contact name. Contact name means maybe the person's name, the person that brought the system. Even uh, if it belongs to a company, but it's not the company that will carry the system to meet you, it's somebody, a representative. So you need to ask the contact name. Again, address of the person that brought it or the company address, then the phone number. Those are information you need to obtain from the customer. All right. Then, what other information do you need to identify the problem? Computer configuration. You need to record manufacturer, the type of manufacturer and the model. Maybe it's HP, maybe it's a Compaq, maybe it's Toshiba, maybe it's Dell, maybe it's Acer, which type and model, you record it down. The type of operating system that is there, is it Windows or Linux or Mac or whatever. The network environment, type of network environment that is installed, you have to take note of that. Then the connection type, the type of connection they are using. Are they using Wi-Fi or maybe some dongle or hotspot or whatever connection type? Then to actually know what the problem is, you need to employ questions. Ask questions from the person that brought the system. You need to use two different types of questions: open-ended questions and closed-ended questions. Open-ended questions, they are questions that when you ask the person will explain what is in his mind, will tell you everything that is in his mind. Those open-ended questions are different from closed-ended questions. Closed-ended questions, they are answered maybe with a yes or no. Questions that, elicit response such as yes, no. Those are closed-ended questions. Open-ended questions, when you ask somebody, for instance, if you turn on this computer, what happens? Then the person will begin to talk. He tell you, if I turn it on, it will come on. Then after working for 2 minutes, it will go off again. That means that question you ask is an open-ended question. But if you ask the person, for instance, this system, did you use it yesterday? And the person said yes or no. That is a close-ended question. So you ask these different types of questions from the owner to actually figure out what the problem with the computer is. All right. Apart from that, to identify the problem, there are other areas of the computer that you need to check, and there are certain information that you can use on the computer itself to actually know what the problem is. One is error message. When you turn on the system, you'll be looking at the screen. There are certain information that will scroll on the screen when the computer is booting. And when there is error, when there's a fault, certain error message comes up. Now, with experience, you may be able to interpret these error messages. Sometimes you may say OS not found, OS not found, or no bootable disk, something like that. These are error messages that tells you the faults that the computer is having. That gives you idea of what the problem is. Beep sequences. These are some of the special noise that have been built into the system. And then when these noise are coming, they have a pattern. So certain pattern will identify to you that, oh, this system is working fine. And certain pattern will tell you this system is not working fine. There's a problem so where. Maybe there is no RAM in this system. RAM is not installed, or there is no hard drive, and so on and so forth. So those beeps can actually give you information about what the problem is. All right. Now, apart from that, we have LEDs. LEDs are the lights that used to show on the computer. When the hard drive of the computer is working, there's a particular LED light that will indicate that the hard drive is functional. And so when this light is not there, with experience, you will now know that, oh, something is wrong with the hard drive, whether it has crashed or something. There is a way that the light will even show, either be blinking or be steady, that special pattern that tells you the condition of the system. And when the pattern is not there, you now know that there's a fault or there's an error. The last part you can use also is POST. When the computer starts up, it carries out POST. This POST, power on self test, has a system, is a system of a way by which computer checks various hardware that have been installed, various components that have been installed. This there's a firmware, a program stored in the BIOS that carries out that search. Now, with experience, when you turn on the system, when you look at the screen, you see the sequence of the POST. It can also bring errors to tell you information about the faults that the computer is having. So all these can be used to actually identify the problem of a computer. Let's look at step 2. Step 2 is to establish a theory of probable cause. Establish a theory of probable cause. 1, before you begin to dig deeper into the computer, first you must suspect something. If somebody say my computer is not turning on, my computer is not turning on, you must suspect something. For instance, is the device power on? Maybe it's a desktop system now. Is that power coming from the socket to the computer cable to the computer system itself? Or the power switch on the system, is it turned on or is it turned off? Or if the system is using a surge protector, is the surge protector turned on or off? These are the things we want to find out. Small things like this will actually solve a big problem on a computer. And in fact, when you have so many areas that you have imagined the problem can come from, you will start from the smallest. The smallest of these areas, it may be the smallest that actually solve it. Then you begin to go up, higher, higher, and higher. All right. For instance, if a computer is not turning on, it may be a cable. You look for loose external cable connection. Perhaps the plug at the mouth of the cable is not functioning well when plugged to the socket. And so for that reason, power cannot get to the system and the system will not turn on. And the owner may not know. But you, as the repair technician, somebody that has more knowledge, will be able to think of all this. Apart from that, non-bootable disk, the system has a way, a set pattern that has been, set in the BIOS, how to read the bootable devices and the one that should be booted. The one that should be booted is the one that has the operating system installed. Now, if the wrong one has been as, bootable disk, bootable drive, then the computer will not start because there will be no operating system installed on that one. Sometimes it may be the boot order in the BIOS setup that is the problem. And so all these have to be checked. There are several theories of probable cause. That is what right. So that is step 2, to establish a theory, several theories. Somebody say my computer is not turning on. You imagine several things. And those things are the theory of probable cause that you think will fix the problem. Now, step number 3, all the theory that you have actually, imagined, that you have laid down, you have to test them one by one to know the cause. And you are starting from the smallest of them. For instance, somebody said my computer is not turning on. 1, ensure that the power the computer device is turned on, that the power button is on. Number 1 step. Then ensure that the switch for the outlet, that is from the socket where power is coming to the computer, the switch there is on. Sometimes the socket may be faulty. That is the 13 ampere plug socket where you connect your computer. The switch there may be faulty, or even the internal part of that socket, they are bad. And when the owner plugs the computer there, the computer can out that is causing the error. Another one, if somebody is using a surge protector sometimes also have a button to turn them on and off. Is the button on, or is it permanently off, or maybe it's stuck into the off position and then it cannot come on? Okay. Another thing is you can also check external cable connections. Cable connection that connect the system to the power. Are they good? Sometimes these cables will be broken inside. And when you connect it to the socket and then from the socket to the computer, power cannot get to the computer because that cable is bad. So what you do in such a case is to swap the cable with one that is working, one that is working with another computer. Swap it to this computer is working, one that is working with another computer. Swap it to this computer to check whether it's actually good, to confirm that the cable itself is good. Another problem is there's a bootable disk, the drive that is bootable. You must ensure that the boot that is designated bootable is actually the right one, the one that has operating system in, whereby this computer will go there and boot up the operating system. Then the boot order in the BIOS, you must check it. You must check the boot order in the BIOS to actually see that the system can boot. The boot sequence, the normal boot sequence must be confirmed. So all these come with experience. Step by step, with experience, you check this, check that. And then all this check, you start from the smallest one. Maybe just check the socket. Maybe only the socket that is the old problem, causing the old problem, or the cable, before we begin to now open the computer and to check what the problem is inside the computer. I think you can hear me, gentlemen and ladies. All right. So I want us to maybe 1 minute pause. Can you hear me clearly now? Somebody said the network is breaking. Can you hear me now?